see and some structures you don't. Oh, good, this one. Alright, I'm going to use both of yours actually. So, let's get one with the brainstem, which is right over here. Going caudal to rostral, this used to be right there. So that's basically just the brainstem, right here. And tucked underneath the cerebellum, this space, this is all fourth ventricle. This space is all fourth ventricle, right here. Spans both Maya and Met. Maya and Met encephalon. This hole, and you will be able to see a little bit of that stuff there. Not so much, but that stuff is the choroid plexus. That's the stuff that makes the CSF. In every ventricle, you can find choroid plexus because choroid plexus is what makes the CSF, right? So in every ventricle, you can find it. Just that it's easiest to find in the lateral ventricles because it's the largest, right? But just know that in every ventricle there are choroid plexus. Right, so the metencephalon is just basically here onwards. Sorry, myencephalon. The myencephalon is basically here onwards. The metencephalon includes the cerebellum. Again, this is the fourth ventricle. The fourth ventricle spans both my and met. And we have this, what's this thing here?
Cerebellum.
Cerebellum. What is that beautiful tree called?
Arbor vitae.
Arbor vitae, tree of life, and which makes all these little bumps, the leaves of this tree, right? Which is called what? Folia, right? So that's basically it for metencephalon, right? Mesencephalon is just, look for this tube. See that tube? Just that tube alone, that's the mesencephalon. Right here to right here. This is cerebral aqueduct, where CSF flows out from the third ventricle to the fourth ventricle. This is cerebral aqueduct right here. The tissue, the collective term for all the tissue above it, like dorsal to it, collectively they're all called the tectum, the ceiling of the cerebral aqueduct, the ceiling of it. And then the ventral is all tegmentum. So the tectum includes two structures you've already seen before, like this. What are those things?
Superior and inferior
Corticuli. Yep. So those belong part of the tectum. Those are part of the tectum. Tectum is a collective term. And the tegmentum, in this case, all you have is just the cerebral peduncles. So that's mesencephalon. Okay. Next is diencephalon. It's basically after the cerebral aqueduct and all these things here. First of all, you see this circle, the circle here, the circle here, the circle here. The circle is the thalamus. The circle thing is the thalamus. Hanging from it, you see this thing that to some people looks like a pine cone. So there's a pineal gland or the pineal body. That's the whole melatonin, circadian rhythm. Okay, so if this is the thalamus, that will make this what?
Hypothalamus.
Hypothalamus, anything that's below it. And let's see what else do I have here. This thalamus here serves as, this wall of the thalamus serves as the wall of the third ventricle. Remember, the third ventricle is very skinny and is in the midline, right? So you have, if this is the thalamus here, so this is the thalamus right here, I have another thalamus here, I can join them together, they form a very skinny little hole in between, that's the third ventricle. So when you cut it open like that, you don't see much of it. But the third ventricle is, I'm just like pointing at the third ventricle, I'm touching it right now. Like that. Alright. So, do a little thing to make something clearer. Seems to be making it worse. Let's see this. Oh, I don't even need to do anything here. Maybe a little bit. Nice. Okay. So this streak here is the fornix. The fornix is gonna go from where? Those, not the other H one. Hippocampus. Hippocampus is a very common thing. People confuse hypothalamus and hippocampus, but they're very different things. So they go from hippocampus, which is inside there. You can't see because it's inside there. It comes out as the fornix, and comes forward and just gets split into two, right? What splits it into two, remember? Anterior commissure, right. And the anterior commissure you can actually see here. See the white dot? The very clear white dot? That's the anterior commissure. It should be coming out at you, right? But it got cut, so that's why you can see a very clear white dot. Anterior commissure. So the anterior commissure will be around here, but this cut missed it. But anterior commissure will be over here. It's going to cut the fornix into two. The one that goes rostrally is going to go to this patch I'm touching here right now called the septal nuclei. It's a very midline structure, so it doesn't look like much right now, but when we do our first coronal cut, it'll become very clear to you. So this is septal nuclei. Where does the other branch go to?
Memory bodies.
Memory bodies. And you can see it right here. This is fornix. You see this white streak here? The white streak of the fornix going into the memory bodies. This is right here. It's a little bit off center, but this is the memory bodies. You can see the fornix going to the memory bodies right here. In turn, the memory bodies will project where?
Back into the fornix? Oh, back into the fornix to the hippocampus?
No, that's septal nuclei. Septal nuclei is the two-way street.
Oh, okay.
The memory bodies will project to the anterior nucleus of the thalamus. Remember that? And see what's this circle thing again? Thalamus. That's the streak right there. The streak is coming from the memory bodies on its way to the very anterior part of the thalamus, the anterior nucleus of the thalamus.
Okay.
See, so that is the fornix. This streak here is the fornix. The more caudal streak here, actually touching the thalamus itself, that's the mammillothalamic tract. The mammillothalamic tract actually touches the thalamus. The fornix doesn't. Okay? Alright. Anything else we didn't talk about is all telencephalon. Big old chamber here, what do you think that is?
Lateral ventricle.
The lateral ventricle. I'm going to dig out some stuff here. You can see like this nasty stuff in there. That's all the choric plexus that actually makes the CSF. This stuff. It's all lining inside the ventricles. Above the ventricle is a very clear white band. There's a ventricle here. What's that band here? This
Corpus callosum?
Corpus callosum, right. This whole thing is a corpus callosum. So there are different names depending on which part it is. The very tip of it, the very, so it goes from here, rostrally, and then ends there, right? Right where it ends, that's the rostrum. Rostrum means beak. Like when I say rostrum, the caudal from nose, from the beak, right? So that's the rostrum right there. The actual curve, the U-shaped thing, looks like a knee, like that, is the genu. Genu means knee. It's the genu of the corpus callosum.
Which part exactly is the rostrum?
The very tippy, the very tip. The actual band itself is the knee, the genu of the corpus callosum. And then this is simply the body of the corpus callosum. And the very caudal nub right here, that's the splenium of the corpus callosum.
Where's the anterior commissure in relation to the rostrum?
Oh, the anterior commissure is right here.
Oh,
So it's over here.
Okay.
The anterior commissure comes in touch with more with the fornix
Okay.
than the corpus callosum.
I see.
See, you see like this thing and this thing, they look like one thing, right?
Yeah.
It's actually not. This thing at the bottom here, this is the fornix. I see fornix going on over here, So you can think of the lateral ventricles being here. The floor of the lateral ventricle is the fornix. The ceiling of the lateral ventricle is the corpus callosum.
Mm-hmm.
And they look like they're the same thing, but they're not the same thing.
Yes.
All right. I already talked about fornix. I already talked about septal nuclei. I already talked about anterior commissure. So I think that's all I have. That's it.
Okay.
So there's like a gap.